Hello.
Hello.
So you guys used to be known as Big Red Truck.
Yes, we were several years ago. We were Big Red Truck, and Megan, myself, and Alan were in this band, Big Red Truck, and then Alan left the band because of health reasons. We
Right.
evolved into a four-piece rock band from a seven-piece something. I don't exactly know what genre. It's very difficult for us to nail down the genre because we're all over the map around what sort of styles, and we just sort of make the songs from scratch, and we really don't try to adhere to any particular style or genre or anything. So we Big Red Truck became a four-piece rock band, and then after that Megan and I took a break, and then we got together and formed the Emily Cars.
Okay. What was the name change? Like, why Emily Cars?
Because Big Red Truck was, had gone through several incarnations and several changes, and then basically stopped existing as a band, and so we wanted to do something new, and so we didn't think that Big Red Truck was a great thing to call it when it was something new, and we like to I personally like to reinvent as opposed to just do the same old and recycle stuff, and
It is hard to define your style.
Yes.
I can really figure out, and I'm sure it's very intentional.
Well, it is and it isn't. It's the part that's intentional is that we want to, like, when something occurs, when a song occurs to me, I build it, right? I make it, and as I said, I make it from scratch, and I never know, like, I don't try to go for any particular feel or genre or anything. It just happens, and I've played with so many different bands and so many different styles. Here and in Europe and the States and all over, and played with so many people that I like to sort of draw from all those influences, and I have a very broad sort of spectrum of music that I like, and so and even when I listen to music, it's not, one day it might be indie rock, and the next day it'll be jazz, and then it'll be reggae, and then it'll be electronic, and then it'll be classical. Yeah. And I don't like to get stuck, and so that's part of the reason I think why our music is maybe difficult to nail down in terms of genre.
Yeah, I noticed there's a touch of reggae even there.
Well, I started out in Vancouver during the punk rock era, when the punk rock era was sort of flourishing in Vancouver. We had a ska band called the B-Sides, and we made records and toured for months at a time, and it was pretty interesting, pretty big deal at the time. And then played with Caribbean bands, played with different players from, like, the West Indies. I've always loved reggae and dub, and so it's probably one of my top two favorite genres of music.
Okay, oh, nice.
Or top five or something.
Okay, yeah.
So it's always in there. Whenever any project I do, I try to touch on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not really expected from, a white guy from Cumberland to be into reggae and dub.
You're right, but when we played, I was inspired by the two-tone bands from Britain, and they were big fans of music coming out of Jamaica, and they formed bands like the Specials, Madness, all the ska bands, and then UB40, which was white and a few different ethnicities in that band, about maybe 5.
Right.
But they all lived in the same sort of neighborhood, and they formed a reggae band and called UB40, and I was a big fan of theirs for a while. And I think the music, there's reggae music all over the world. It's not just confined to Jamaica, and in Africa and like everywhere. It's everywhere. There's New Zealand reggae bands, California reggae bands, you name it. So it has it's had a pretty profound sort of effect, influence on the world music.
It has,
scene or whatever you want to call it in our global culture. And so, and I love it. And it's interesting because we just did a show with we put together a reggae band and we played at Courtney Market Day on Duncan Avenue on the big stage there. And we did all reggae, mostly reggae standards, and it's just a bunch of people from the valley that really like reggae music, and it's great. And every once in a while we get together and we do a full-on reggae band, and it's super fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, that's really
and there's if there were Jamaicans or Trinidadians or whoever, particularly Jamaicans, if there were Jamaicans around, we'd invite them to come and play or jam with us.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Nice. So how did you all meet? Because you've known each other for quite a long time, haven't you?
Well, yes. I met Al. I met Megan when I first moved to the Valley.
Okay.
I went to Cumberland to just hang out because I met some people there, and there was a bit of a scene, so I went there, met Megan, and then Al was friends with Megan, and I met Al. And it's interesting because when you play music, there's a community of people that play music, and and so you all of a sudden you start to meet players. It's not difficult to meet other players, but I met Step in Cumberland, and then happened to find out he plays keyboards, and I said, well, one day I mentioned we'd like to have a keyboard player, and he said, well, I play keyboards, and so that was it.
Okay.
And we liked him.
Yeah.
It's because to me it's become more of just liking the people that I'm playing music with rather than being motivated or ambitious to have a career or anything like that. So, and then actually Ross was, he's from the Vancouver music scene, and when he was moving to the Valley, they said, look up Bobby Herron when you get there, because he lives over there, and there was a big community in Vancouver of people that were all in the sort of alt music scene there. So he met me through that recommendation or something, and then we hooked up and we liked each other, and then so we all started doing this.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. And you play mostly in the Comox Valley, like tour around the city.
Yeah, Big Red Chuck toured a bit, but we all have jobs, except for Ross isn't working right now, but we all have careers or jobs and community work and all kinds of things, and I'm a dad, and so we're playing music because we enjoy it, and I feel really strongly compelled to write the songs. And the interesting thing is, when I was touring as a touring artist, I wasn't the greatest songwriter, but we played my songs and nevertheless and recorded them. And now that I'm actually feel like the songwriting has really come really, really far, and it's gotten to a point where I'm really feeling good about the songs, but there's no we're not going to do much with them because we're not going to go out and try to take the world by storm or go touring or anything else. So, but we are going to make a record soon.
Okay.
So, yeah.
When do you think that might come?
January.
January. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah, it is. It's cool.
Yeah. Okay.
Love it.
So, what's next for Inland Cars?
Rehearsal.
Rehearsal. Yeah.
We're going to work on pre-production for the album for a few months because I want it to be really good. So I want to do a lot of the work that we need to do ahead of time before we go in the studio. And we're playing at Woodstow Festival, and we'll just continue to see who wants to have us perform at their venue.
Nice. Okay. Well, thanks for the interview. Thank you.